RAM OCS. Example 2. Configuration of multiple amplifiers. Here we will see the configuration of multiple amplifiers in an installation, such as a stadium. To start, let's assume that we already have created a library of system preset configurations. Let's imagine, for example, that we are going to install three-way systems which will be located in 24 different zones. We will need to create the necessary control groups to adjust the gain and delay by zone and also by specific ways. To start, we need to place the amplifiers in their desired locations and turn them on one by one for easy identification. If we knew the serial number and location of each, we could turn them all on at the same time. Next, we create the necessary zones. And we drag the amplifiers detected directly into the corresponding zone. Once we have the amplifier in position, we assign a name to identify it. We continue by turning on the next amplifier and pressing the magnifying glass plus icon to scan the network. This way, we don't alter our project in any way. We simply add a new amplifier. Again, we check location and add a name. We continue this process until we have added all the amplifiers that form part of the zone, in this case 3. Once we have all the amplifiers in their specific zone, we can then send the presets necessary for their configuration. To do this, we have various options. We could do it by opening the amplifiers one by one, sending the necessary presets, either a few, or the complete library, as we saw in example 1. A quicker option, if all the amplifiers shared the same library, would be to send the presets or the complete library simultaneously to all the amplifiers in the zone. To do this, we click on the Zone Preset Manager tab, we load the library that has the necessary presets, and we select the presets that we want to send and recall as current in our amplifiers. In this case, we're going to make use of Global Preset 1, which defines our system. The Send and Recall button in the Global Preset section will send all the necessary presets to all the amplifiers and configure the amplifier completely as we instructed when the Global Preset was created. If in our installation configuration not all the amplifiers of the zone share the same preset configurations, we would have to send all the presets needed by the amplifiers. We could also send the complete library, although depending on the number of presets, this could be a slow process. Once all the presets needed for configuration have been sent to the amplifier zones, we would have to define the configuration amplifier by amplifier. We could have also started in the same way, sending only the presets needed exclusively to each amplifier individually, but it's more practical for all the amplifiers to have all the presets available, as this allows for quick changes to made to the amplifiers if and when needed. We repeat these same steps for all the amplifiers in the installation. It's a good idea to keep saving our project from time to time in case there's an error at any point and we need to recover it. So in summary, we have a north zone divided into two sectors, a superior sector and an inferior sector. Each one of these sectors is then divided into 3 zones, left, right and center. Each of these 6 zones has 3 amplifiers configured in the same way. Low in channels A and B, mid in channels C, and high in channels D. This same structure is repeated in the south, east, and west zones. In order to turn all the amplifiers on, or off, at the same time we would have to go to the zone root all devices, push the Monday standby button, and go to the power control zone. Here we find the buttons to turn the amplifiers on, in a sequential form, or to turn all the amplifiers off. Now we could create some control groups that would allow us to adjust the gain and delay of each one of the zones, separating them in low, mid, and high ways. To do this we would go to the control group section and create a structure to group the channels we want to control simultaneously. For example, in this case we create a similar structure to the zones already created and saved in the tree on the left, but we also add low, mid and high ways. By using the icons on the top bar or by right-clicking we create the structure, including all the folders we need. We can now create these control groups, one for gain, one for delay and one for alerts. We drag the amplifier zones which we want to partly control resources. We select the resource, input, and output to be controlled and we create the group. By pressing the control icon directly for the corresponding position, we access the control which allows us to modify gain or delay of the group of resources selected. This way, for example, we can control delay for the low ways in the top left north zone, or the gain of all the ways in the north zone, or the gain in the mid ways in the top central north zone, etc. The organization of the structure depends on our needs, with it being possible to nest all the groups and folders necessary. The only thing we can't do is put the same resource in 2 different folders, as this would produce a duality or recurrence. So this way we create the configuration for our specific project, which will allow the initial turning on and controlling of the system. It would also be possible to make different configurations, either for projects that do not need the whole system, or for projects that require different configurations. Once the global project is complete, we can modify it as necessary and save as different projects. After completing the global project, we simply need to load one project or another, then turn on the amplifiers we need and update the current amplifier configurations. Let's see an example. We will start from our global stadium project, and we will create a new configuration which will use only the north zone. To do this we need to delete all the controls and windows that refer to the other zones, and all the zones and control groups that we are not going to use. We now need to create a monitor standby window for our global north zone, which we will use to turn the amplifiers on in this zone only. Next we open the control zones that we need for this zone, and to finish, we save this project with a new name. Now we simply need to load the project we need according to use, then turn on the amplifiers and update the configuration of the control groups using the button Update All. This way we can have different projects which allow different configurations of our system, turning on only the amplifiers necessary and sending only the specific configurations of the control groups needed.